Good evening and welcome. I am Amarachi Ubani. Tonight, President Muhammadu Buhari to highlight the plight of over 9 million residents of the Lake Chad Basin before world leaders at the United Nations General Assembly. The Nigerian Air Force conducts several airstrikes on Boko Haram strongholds in northern Borno State, leaving many casualties. Police in Rivers State rescue the remaining 7 oil workers out of the 14 abducted on September 2nd. And officials in New York say a bomb blast in the city was a terrorist act, although the motive is unclear, while no link has been established with any rebel group. We begin tonight in New York, the United States, where over 100 world leaders are gathered for the 71st session of the United Nations General Assembly. Security, however, has taken the shine off the gathering even before it kicks off officially, following an explosion that rocked the city earlier today. When the meeting gets underway tomorrow, however, President Muhammadu Buhari will be highlighting the plight of over 9 million people living in the Lake Chad Basin. Our State House correspondent, Chukwuma Onekusi, who's in New York, reports the city is on high alert ahead of the plenary.
I would have told you that New York City will be agog with activities as world leaders converge on it for the 71st session of the United Nations General Assembly. But instead, what we are going to have is a complete lockdown of the entire city following the explosion that rocked Manhattan last night. That explosion occurred on West 23rd Street, some kilometers away from the Nigerian building, which is on West 44th Street, and of course away from the United Nations General Assembly building. The authorities say investigations are continuing to unravel the cause of that explosion that got over 29 people injured. Now the whole city is on high alert as there is going to be a lot of caution and precautionary measures as world leaders converge. President Muhammadu Buhari, who has already settled in, will be among the over 190 world leaders that will be brainstorming here on Monday.
There are many issues and topics to treat, and most of them are of relevance to Africa and to Nigeria specifically. Issues of migration will be tackled, issues of internally displaced people, issues of security. Nigeria is also going to bring up the issue of the Lake Chad and many other diverse issues, all with significance for Africa and for Nigeria. So here, our president is going to meet with the Prime Minister of Israel, is going to meet with that of Great Britain, is going to meet with the American president, is going to meet with that of France, and so many others. How better can we have it as Nigerians?
Nigeria will benefit from all the meetings?
You can be sure. You know, there are 3 special thematic areas for our president: economy, security, anti-corruption. In most of his outings, he had been dwelling so much on security, and we see the result of that already in the country.
Still on Monday, the president will attend the meeting on modern slavery, people trafficking, to be chaired by the Prime Minister of Britain, Mrs. Theresa May. That's the situation for now. From the United Nations building in New York City, Chukwuma Onekusi, Channels Television News.
Back home, the Nigerian Air Force has conducted airstrikes on suspected Boko Haram hideouts on the outskirts of Tumbingini and Tuminkayewa communities in Borno State. In a video released by the Air Force, some of the terrorists could be seen in what appears to be a gathering point before the Air Force launched its offensive. The Director of Public Relations and Information, Group Captain Ayodele Famuyiwa, stated that a similar operation was carried out in August in Tumbinrigo, which led to the death of many high-ranking members of the group. The gunmen who kidnapped 4 residents of Isheri area of Lagos State are asking the victims' families to pay about 300 million naira each before they're released. The abductors, who established contact with the families earlier today, say once the monies are deposited at a designated point, their victims will be set free. Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police in Ogun State, Mr. Ahmed Ilyasu, told Channels Television that a combined team of officers have been deployed to the area.
Isheri North, a community that lies between Lagos and Ogun states. At the last count, it boasts of at least 9 residential estates, with many more springing up. The relatively peaceful community was jolted on Saturday with the news of kidnap of some residents who were on their routine early morning jogging. The kidnappers were said to have escaped through this bushy path. Security agents from the 2 neighboring states are already on ground with some air surveillance as well, all in a bid to rescue the victims. The visit of the Commissioner of Police Ogun Command, Ahmed Ilyasu, to the community draws the attention of some residents who are eager for some reassuring news.
In issue of kidnapping and hostage taking, the most important thing is safety and the security of the victims. You go in and bring out victims healthy and hardy, and that is what we are doing. A structure is already on the ground. We have put in place all the estate owners. We have organized them through the Eminent Persons Forum, as well as the Police Community Relations Committee. And they are willing to come in to work together with the police, because policing is an issue of the society. We are already partaking in the covert operational methods in synergy with other security agencies, the military, the Navy, and the Air Force.
The residents are not about to leave anything to chance as well, as they found the common fronts from the unfortunate incident.
What has been happening now is not new, because we are at the riverine area, very close to where these Ijaw militants were, those people who were bombed some time ago. So it's natural. I think they are regrouping, and it should be a wake-up call to all of us.
The shanties that we have here is just too much. Too much. It's a very, very mighty place, which we need to evacuate the people that is here. If you come to see it yourself, from the river, from everywhere, they used to come into this place. We have been doing a lot of it before this bigger one now happened.
The presence of the security agents will no doubt give the residents some respite. However, nothing will make them happier than the safe return of those in captivity.
Less than 24 hours after 3 victims escaped, 7 other oil workers of the 14 kidnapped on September 2nd along Omokuelele axis of Rivers State have been rescued by the police. A police public relations officer, Nnamdi Omoni, says the hoodlums were apprehended earlier today and the victims set free with no ransom paid. The rescued victims have been taken for medical examination at an undisclosed hospital. The police command says its officers are still investigating the circumstances surrounding the incident to ascertain the abductors' primary motive. Still in Rivers State and staying with crime, the recent killing of a woman in Rumekini community in Obiakpo local government area has continued to send shockwaves around the neighborhood. The woman, the mother of a set of triplets, was allegedly killed in her home by yet to be identified persons. The Rivers State Police Command says nothing will be left to chance in the investigation. Our correspondent Emmanuel Irei has more.
This is Rumekini community in Obiakpo local government area of Rivers State. Life goes on for the people here. But a reported case of murder, however, leads us to Rumuchi Street, where a 38-year-old mother of 5 girls, including a set of triplets, Comfort Ikunga, was stabbed to death in her sleep. Family and friends are still in shock. Is a 2-bedroom apartment simply furnished. This is where the late Comfort laid until she was gruesomely murdered. Though the room has been rearranged since the incident occurred, there are questions begging for answers as to what would have led to the attack. Casey Ikunga, husband of killed woman, was said to have been out of home watching football, only to return and find his wife dead.
Say, daddy, come back, say, mommy, I'm vomiting blood. Say, mommy, I'm vomiting blood. My friend, the owner of the house, beating wife, all of us go. I was like, oh, yeah. Because just live with one of my born triplet.
one of Najima, and the last one. The other people stay for their own room. All of them are asleep up. So I asked him coming, as I just went there, continue my wife. The blood was too much. I don't know, person who cut a knife here, everywhere, all over. I start to shout.
Outside, some residents lament the security situation in the area.
Security situation in the country, River State, and even our community is not so that encouraging. In a situation where somebody would be killed right there in their husband's room, it means that we are not safe.
The security situation here is very porous. We can see the roads. This one, someone can come and commit crime. This leads to the East-West Road. This also leads to the Obrikwere Flyover Road, which is a very major road that one can just commit crime and run out. Police need to increase their patrol.
The police say they are leaving nothing to chance in their search for those behind the killing.
The incident was unfortunate. The command is not leaving any stone unturned. Investigation has commenced. All hands on deck. Our men are also on ground. We are seriously searching for the unknown gunmen, because they say the people came and broke into the house and stabbed the woman. So we are on top of it, and in no time the perpetrators of this dastardly act will be brought to justice.
As the police continues their investigations, some say there are gaps. Did everyone fall asleep at the same time in the household? How come no one raised any alarm? Were the doors forced open? Perhaps answers to these questions and more will help unravel the seeming mystery. Emmanuel Erei, Channels Television News.
It appears to be a blessing turned fatal as Ubuluku community in Anyocha South local government area of Delta State, which stayed without power for 6 years, is now mourning the death of a young man after he was electrocuted by high power voltage. The tragedy struck when 21-year-old Peter Akabweze attempted to turn off a control switch at his family home, but never completed the task.
30 kilometers from Asaba, the Delta State capital, is Ubuluku, one of the oldest communities in Anyocha South local government area. Being the largest and most populated town in the local government area, the community was without power for over 6 years. Just 3 months ago, power was restored, and according to the community, electricity has been on and off until a few days ago, when the supply of a high voltage destroyed property and also caused death. Peter Akabweze is the second of 5 children from their parents. They give account of the ugly incident.
Is close to the switch. He shouted, because we are close. What was touching? He shook me too. He fell down. Gradually, small. So I tell you, not up to 3 minutes. Put the generator. Stop confirmed that he's dead.
And this voice is all to me. He has gotten admission to Unipen. He's the one that is helping me.
Sympathizing with the family of the victim, Esther Okolie, a corporate affairs officer, confirms the incident, saying it's a result of a failed insulator.
Really sympathizing with the bereaved family and the Ubuluku community. Port insulator shattered, thereby giving rise to a very high voltage on our 11 kV network. Incidentally, the accident that took place that day wasn't as a result of this shattered insulator. On investigation, our team of engineers discovered that the boy in question was trying to switch off at their distribution box, and unfortunately his hand came in contact with a live wire that they used to illegally extend supplies to another apartment. That was exactly what led to that accident.
In part 2 after the break, our in-house data analyst Babajide Ogusonwo examines the recently launched Change Begins With Me campaign, side by side similar other orientation schemes in the past. Please join us again.